Hey everyone, welcome back to the bench and to part 2 of this pendant tutorial. And in today's video, we're going to finish off by creating the bow and then adding loads of extra weaving on top of it to make it look really fancy and part of the design. So it, instead of just being a basic bow, it becomes part of the pendant and where all the major wire wrapping happens. So we're going to step it up a gear today. We're going from beginner stuff definitely into, I would say, expert level weaving. That's the only way to describe it, really. So just practice. It might not go right the first time. I know it's a little tricky. And I will say this is very Lonely Soldier, this finish. You're going to love this. Anyhow, so what am I talking about? Come on, let's have a look. Let me show you what we're about to do. So here you go. This is what we're going to be up to today. As you can see, some nice fancy weaving and some interesting way of using up the wire. Let me turn over to the back. Obviously, we have a few spirals to finish off with. Always have a few spirals. But let me explain roughly how this is going to go. Okay, so we're going to start from the back and we're going to weave a one section. We're going to bring it around to the front. You can see it here. Just about see it there. And we're going to be strapping a wire into that weave. So there's the main weave there. And then we're going to be strapping a wire to the outside. We will then attach that. We will then take the wires that we have left over around the front and we're going to bring them around the front and we're going to start weaving and then come back over the bell to the back there. But at the same time as doing that, we're going to strap in a piece of hammered, twisted wire. Now, this could be a bit of leftover from the side here. It could be, you're going to have some leftover twisted wire. You could make a separate piece if you wish to. But yeah, that's what we want. It doesn't have to be twisted. It can be just a straight piece of wire. But you know what? I think it would work well as twisted because it then matches what we've done down the sides. Like so. So yeah, that's it. And then we're going to come from the front. We'll bring these in. As you can see, we end up chopping some off halfway. So this is a great little trick to show you. Sometimes you don't know what to do with the rest of the wire. Just trim it off. But place it in a point that it can't get caught. The ends can't be caught on any jumper, and also held into place, as you can see, by just a simple weave either side. So yeah, then we're going to come up over the top, down this side, and then we're going to finish at the back. And I've got a great way just finishing off with a few spirals there. So yeah, so we're going to step it up with that weaving today. It's all the figure of 8 weave. That's all it is, nothing much more. But we're going to add wire, take wire away, and do something fancy. And also, and hopefully you're going to design your own patterns. So you can see what I've got here. I go in 3s. I like 3s. Might not be the same as that once we get going. Right then, let's crack on and start weaving. Well, this has to be one of my quickest tool talks so far. So not much this needed for this video this week. We're going to need our chain nose, flat nose, flush cutters, pair of bell pliers with a 6mm mandrel. If you haven't got bell pliers with 6mm mandrel, just look for something around the house like a pen or a pencil. That's close enough. Metal ruler, pair of tweezers, good pair of tweezers with nice sharp points going to come in handy here. And wire gauge size today that I will be weaving with, it will be 28 gauge, which is 0.32mm. Right then, let's crack on and finish the pendant we started last week. First job, remove any masking tape that you may still have holding all your wires together. Run your fingers down your wires while you're doing it. Now straighten them out. Grab your ruler. And then, I will admit, this is a little bit tricky. You need to balance your ruler. And what you're looking to do is to measure 3mm each side of the center of your neck mark. What are we doing? Let me just quickly show you, because I'm making 2 at a time here. That's what we're doing. We're going to take the 2 back wires and we're going to turn them up, and we're looking for roughly a 6mm gap between the 2 there. So place your ruler on. I know, a little bit tricky. Just do your best. Now, I'm on a Sharpie rubbish. It should be finer point than this. But yeah. Roughly. Cool. Getting a rough idea. I'm still going to do a little bit by eye. Now, grabbing the last back wire here, roughly by your mark or on your mark, you want to turn it up so it becomes perpendicular to the pendant. But at the same time, you're pushing down so you create that nice little right angle. See? There we go. Do the same the other side. See that roughly on my mark where it was. Turn it up, pushing down at the same time. There we go. Pretty pleased with that. That's come out well. Just going to quick measure. There we go. 6 mil. Pretty happy with that. 6 mil gap. Cool. Now we're going to start weaving. So grab your weaving wire. And we're going to do the basic figure of 8 weave. Round once, round twice, cross over in a figure of 8 pattern. Now, if you don't know how to do the figure of 8 weave and you've just found yourself on this video and you're going, well, how do I do it? I've explained it quite a few times in other videos. My first ever video is all about weaving. Go watch that. I'll put the link in, where's the corner? I'll put the link in the corner there somewhere. Yeah, go watch that. And that was an in-depth video of me talking about how to do the figure of 8 weave and how to strap wire to the outside of the figure 8 weave, which we're about to do. So yeah, and also there's my other pendant tutorial that I did some time back. Again, with the bail, I'll put the link in the corner again. And I go into the figure 8 weave in that video as well. So yeah, go watch those videos. There's a lot more in depth into it. Right then, concentrate on weaving. Now, when you'll find this happens, when you start weaving, you'll find these wires will want to do that. They're going to want to come in on each other like this. So my best tip here is just gently, every couple of weaves, just get your finger and do that. That's all. That's all you need to do. So, and another tip, here's a go. Just watch me weave, really. I like to turn the piece like so, because then it drags the wire onto it. Okay. Right. I'm going to stop there. Cool. Right, has get the melt food up. I'm stopping there. I've only weaved 3 times each side. I've gone about 3 mil, 2 to 3 mil at the most. There we go. There you can see. I'm going to stop there. And I've stopped on the side that I started. That doesn't really matter. We're then going to take the next back wire. There we go. There we go. You'll see we're going to next take the next back wire here. We're going to bring it round so it's kind of level. Okay, you see what I've done there? Just bent it so it's next to the side of the bell there. And then with my pliers, preferably I'm going to use my flat rounds. Make sure I'm in the right position. I'm just going to turn it with a bit of an angle so it comes down and sits nicely next to. There we go. There's the focus. And it sits nicely next to that wire. Going to do the same on the other side. Was a bit tricky with the cameras in the way. There we go. I'm not pretty happy with that. That's not too bad. As I start joining them into the weave, it will pull them in tighter as well. So a little tip here at the top end. That's my outside wire. Just slightly give it a little bit of spray. It's a lot easier when you start weaving, go down as well. So back to the weave. What we're going to want to do now is we're going to want to start joining in these outside wires into this weave. So let's get the first join in. So I'm going to cross back over, round once. As I come around the second time, I'm going to come to the outside wire and strap it in nice and tight. And then I'm going to get back into the weave, tidy up, fingernails in, and cross over to the other side. So come around the once, come through the gap to the outside. Oh, there we go, done through that. Focus there to the outside. Put it tight and then back into the weave and then crossing back over again. Again, I have gone over this in my first ever video and in my last pendant video as well. So if you really don't know this weave, I recommend you go watch them again. So I'm now going to place just one more weave in, crossing from one side to the other again. And then I'm going to strap the outside wire back in. Now that's just me adding a pattern in. Where's the original? Let's get the original. That's just me adding, see this pattern here. It just means I have a bit of a gap. You don't have to. You could strap every single time if you wanted to. This is time for you to decide your own patterning and what's going to just be easier for you to weave, really, and remember. That's all. That's one of the main reasons as well. You've got to be able to remember your pattern as you're going along. So there we go. I'm going to come to the outside. Nice and tight. Back into the weave. Cross over to the other side. Come to the outside. Again, and back into the weave. Just quickly stop there and just do that. Just take your time, like I say, over this. You don't want those wires coming in on yourself while you're doing this, because they're going to want to do it. They're going to want to put on in because you want to get that weave tight. You want it tight to the base wires. They're going to want to do that. But yeah, take your time about it. Right, before I move any further now, you're going to come up with your pattern. How far do we actually want to weave? Now, this really does depend on your stone. I'm going to say this. So if your stone's quite small, you might not want to go as far as me, but I highly recommend you make the bell slightly bigger like this, because we want to have that slightly longer canvas for wire, really. That's what this bell is about. This is not just about a bell to go on the chain. This is a part of the design. This is where all the wire work happens. So we're looking for something a bit taller and a bit longer, but long enough that suits the stone. So bit of trial and error here. You're going to have to make your own judgment. Now, I know the measurement for this one, and this is the size we're going to use, and it's roughly the same size as the stone I've chosen, which is good. So we're going to weave from there 4 centimeters. So get your ruler, mark up to the top one. There we go, 4 centimeters. And we're going to weave all the way up there. And at the same time, we're going to be joining this outside wire as we go along in whatever pattern you want. I'm going to go 3s. What I'll do is I'll attach it 3 times. Then I'll weave for a bit. I'll measure it, maybe 3 or 4 mil. And then I'll attach it again. So yeah, it's making a bit of a pattern, really. That's all you need to do. So where was I? Back into the weave. Weaving tips. Sounds silly. Don't bite your fingernails off when you're in depth. Yes, they come in handy so much if you bite your fingernails like I do. And like I say again, try and turn the piece. If you can turn the piece, it will always pull that wire to that base wire much tighter. Oh, look, see the wire's just gently coming in. You can see it happening. So just put my finger down like so. Right. I'm going to strap into the outside again. And that gives me a pattern of 3. Cool. I'm now going to weave probably for another, let me see, how long is that piece done? So probably going to weave only about 3 mil, maybe 4, and then I'll do that again. This is the time to put on a Harry Potter movie or some Lord of the Rings. Sit down and watch your favourite film while you're weaving. That's what I like doing when doing long weaves. Go get a movie, stick it on, because you know you're there for a couple of hours sometimes. So every so often, just do that. Right then, let's go into a bit of a hyperactive mode and speed things up. There we go. I've gone, about 4 mil. Yeah, that'll do. I've gone 4 mil from the last time I strapped it into the outside. There we go. Sorry, that's a better picture. I've gone 4 mil from the last time I strapped it from the outside. I'm now going to start strapping the outside again in the same pattern. I'll go, actually, no, I'll go 1. And then I'll go through again. Yeah, let's do that. Let's throw that kind of pattern in. But again, that same distance between the weaves on the outside wire, try and get the same distance for about 4 mil. You could count your wraps if you wanted to. You could go down that road and start counting all your weaves and your wraps, but I think that might be a bit of a headache. Right then, let's strap it in. Right, there you go. I'm now coming up to my mark, my 4 centimetre mark. There we go. Roughly there. So as you're coming up, obviously you've got your pattern you've been doing down the side here. The only thing I will suggest is that you will need a minimum of 1 wrap joining the outside right by where you finish, or just before. So like you put one in and then do another wrap, another weave. So I'm just about coming up to that now. So I'm going to do that now, just before the mark. So it's only going to be like a couple of weaves afterwards. There we go. And that will help hold it into place. I'm just going to add those couple of weaves in, just to finish. There we go. Yeah, we'll cross over one more time. Let's go one more time. And obviously make sure you finish on the opposite side you started, and everything's even. Not super important, but just one of those things. There we go. Cool. That's what you're aiming for. Keeping this relatively straight and basically trying to keep a 5 to 6 mil gap all the way So it's not too bad. It's only come in very slightly, very just, but I'm very pleased with that. That went a lot better than my practice sessions. A great example why you need to practice. But yeah, that's what you're aiming for with the wires. Right, let's tidy up and let's make this bell. So that wire here, we need to tidy that up. So you just need to trim it so it sits on the inside there. Even get your tweezers in just to make sure it just tucks it. There we go. And make sure the end's on the inside, because this is going to be the inside of the bell. Now, I would say trim this end off here, but you don't have to, because we're about to, where's the example? About to make the bell come down, and we're about to come back up again. Actually, you know what? Let's make life easy for you. I'm not going to go take it down that road, because that's just being me and making my life really tricky. So I'm not going to make your life tricky. So let's trim this off. So we're going to trim off, and you want to trim off so the end is on the inside there. Again, use your tweezers just to tuck it round if you need to. Or even the ends of your chain nose pliers. Like so. Run your finger over, or I can feel a bit sticking out. I'm going to say just a little bit. There we go. I'm happy. Okay, budget down. Like so. Right. Grab your ruler and your marker pen. Lay it down and mark the centre of the weave. 2 centimetres, or wherever, how far you've gone. Then we're going to need our bell pliers. And using the 6mm mandrel, or whatever mandrel you think, if yours got a really thick stone, that you might want to slightly thicker bell at the top. But I'm using 6mm. And we're going to place it just below that mark. There we go, just below my mark. I'm then going to bend the wire over. And you aim to get that centre point. There we go. That went well. There we go. That's the stage. Should be up. Cool. Everything's going really well today. This is working out fine. There we go. Right. Let's attach this and move on to the next section. Grab your flat nose pliers. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this outside wire here. We're going to bring it under, call it the armpit of the arm, and out the back, both sides. You could do this by hand, to be honest. Just bring that back to the back, like so. Run your fingers along it. Same the other side. You notice how I place my thumb over the bell there to anchor it into place. I'm going to bring it round to the back. Like so, as you can see. Both sides. There we go. Then, again, get your flat nose pliers. Grip the wire. I prefer to grip it down here. I feel like I've got more control than if I grip it over here. Yes, grip the wire down here and bring it over to the front. And do the same the other side. It's a little tricky with the camera in the way. There we go. Bring it over the front. There we go. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to look down it. Obviously, you can see. Oh, there we go. That's better. Better focus. There we go. You can see they need crimping. So take your flat nose and I do like a squeeze and a roll. See the angle I'm at here? Slight angle. I'm going to, as I crimp, I'm going to move the pliers and roll the wire gently at the same time. Round, stop, come back, regrip, and crimp. Do the same the other side. So it was tricky with the camera in the way here. There we go. I'm in focus there. Just about there we go. Again, I'm going to come at a slight angle down here and I'm going to turn the pliers and crimp at the same time. There we go. Happy with that. Again, then use your fingers and bring the wire round to the back, like so. Do the same the other side. And then again, crimp them into place. Just had a really strange thing. The lady, the owner of the shop next door, was walking her puppy past my window and giving me such weird looks. I don't think she knows what I do here. But yeah, she gave me such, strange looks. It really is. I don't know why. Anyhow, pretty happy with that. Spend that next few minutes sitting there, even get your chain nose out to get really precisely in there, and just give it a good crimp. Oops, a daisy. Wire is everywhere. Till you're happy. Just spend that extra minute or so. Always do that. Take your time. Right then, just cool. I'm pretty happy with that. That's turned out really okay. There we go. First part of the bell is attached. Now, don't trim these off. We're going to want these. But what you can do right now is get in there with your flash cutters and trim your spare twisted wire. Now I'm going to trim it right up flush next to the wrap. That's okay. Now we can use this to go down the middle. Very good. We can now use this to go down the middle of our weave on our next part, but it doesn't have to be used. We could do another one if you fancy. That's up to you. But that's the bonus. So again, just going to trim the other side, making sure. Sorry, I'm in focus there. Just checking nothing's sticking out. There we go. Pretty happy with that. Right then, let's get ready for stage 2 of this bale. Right, let me grab the original piece. Let's have a quick look. Let's, again, talk you through what we're about to do. We've done the first part. We've come over the front now, and we've attached, as you can see that. And there we go. Now, we're going to take these wires here at the sides, and we're going to bring them round the front. As you can see, they are here. Here they are. 1, 2, 3. So we've got these 3, 2 at the side, all in focus, and 2 at the front as well. So we can bring those up. So how you bring them in is up to you. I've gone for this more very industrial kind of design. It's kind of my favorite thing to do whenever I'm doing it. It's slightly sci-fi, slightly industrial. I'm always thinking of pipe work. That's always reminds me, those big factories you go to, like big chemical factories or the cellophane factories, and you see these vast amounts of pipe work everywhere. I love looking at stuff like that. That totally inspires me when it comes to wire wrapping. So kind of the idea here. So as you can see, this is more about angles, really. So you can kind of do it how you want it, but maybe copy me as we go along. Right, let's get started. So there we go. This is at the stage we're at now. So we're going to take that first wire here, and we're going to bring it. I'm going to actually do this with my fingers and thumbs, fine. And we're going to bring it down to the front of the pendant. Now, it depends on your stone, how far you want to come down here. Now, I want to cover this bit here. I don't want this here. I don't want to see that. I want, as you can see here on this, how you see I got come down here and you just start at this. Oh, sorry, there, I'm in focus. As you see, come down here, just start at the stone. So it covers the neck. It hides that. That's what that's what I'm looking to do here. So I'm going to bring this down. So the angle you bring this down is up to you. You can come right down if you want to and actually make it like a bit of a point, like so. So again, do the same again the other side. Just going to use my fingers for this. And I'm going to cross them over. If anything, actually, might get our pliers on that a little bit around that. Just tighten that up. There we go. Now, the next bit's the tricky bit. I won't deny it. This is where it might go wrong. So what we're now looking to do, again, go back to the original. It's often handy to see exactly what we're allowed to do. So that wire there, let me get back into focus. That wire there is this wire here. We now want to turn it up so it turns back up into the bail. We want a little bit of a gap between it that we can strap some twisted wire down through the middle of it at the same time. So, a tricky one, I know. Yeah. Now, what you could do is use your marker pen, or you could use it by eye. You know, so one of the few times I'm like, what was about precision? But normally I would go by eye with this. But you know what I'm doing? I will use my marker pen on the first bit. There we go. Make my life easy. Do the first one, and then the second one becomes a bit easier. Now, chain nose or flat nose, up to you. Whatever you feel comfortable working with here. I'm going to go with my flat nose. Going to be just the other side of my mark. And I'm going to turn in and try and get as tight as I possibly can up. There we go. Now, it wasn't bang on my mark. Now, I'm going to have to eyeball the other side to make sure it's right. But that's what you're looking for. You're not looking to be directly to the outside. You still want a bit of a gap down there. But knowing when I turn this next one in, we should, he says, have a reasonable size gap between the two. There we go. About there. Lean into my thumb on this bit. We're a little short. Damn. Time for a little bit of a fix-me job. Now we can get around this. Now what I might do here is I actually prefer that one. That's tighter. I'm going to slightly redo this one. Just getting in there with my flat nose pliers, gently. Just bending it back out again. Finding that spot and then turning it back up again. It's better, I can tell that's better already. There we go. I'm happy with that. That's come out all right. A little bit of tweaking. Just a little bit. I'm good. I'm really pleased with that. So again, I'm just going at the top here, gently, just spray them. Just going to make my life easier when I start weaving. Now, let's put that to one side and let's go prep our piece of twisted wire that we need to strap down the middle. Now I'm going to get my hammer and block out. And again, I'm using the pieces that came off the side. So I'm going to give them a little bit more of a hammer. Let's get a bit more of a shape. I had my hammer, but I put it away. Here we go. Just want to get a little bit more of a flash on it so when we do polish, it stands out. There we go, it's a lot better. And a better pattern as well. Kind of originally what I wanted. Anyhow, pretty pleased with that. So let's tidy this up. Get your flush cutters and just trim one end so you got a bit of a point. Like so. Now, I know I didn't say this in the tool talk about using a file, but yeah, you're going to want to use a file. Now, trim your end and then just sit there for that moment, round it off. So you get a nice even point on the front. And that's about, doesn't have to be a sharp point. Just need to tidy the end of the wire. That's all. We don't need to do anything at the other end just yet. We're going to trim it off after we've weaved it in. But you just want to make that bit at the start. There we go. I'm pretty pleased with that. That looks good. Run your finger over it. Check to see if it's sharp or not. There we go. Pleased with that. Right then, let's pick our pendant back up again. I won't deny this next bit is in a little bit all fingers and thumbs. Grab your wrapping wire and let's start our weaving. So, first few weave is always the tricky few to get in. Like so. Look at the first one in, first wrap anyway. And cross over to the other side. If you find it sliding around the corner, get your thumbnail in there and stop it from moving. And we can get the first in. Now, again, be careful of these coming in as you're weaving. They're going to want to do that. So again, every few weaves, just stop, put your finger down, budge them open. Now, we want to strap this in as we're going down. I'm going to add another more weave in first. Let's do that. So get just 2 weaves in. There we go. And now ready. Strap that wire down the middle. Just gonna slightly tidy that up a little bit. Always tidying as you go along. That's better. Nice and straight. There we go. So now we're now ready to strap that piece of wire, twisted wire, down through the middle of our weave. Just going to change the light here a minute. We have just a little bit of light outside. Let me just turn. There we go. That's a little bit better. Yeah. There we go. So there we go. I've done 2 weaves. Now we're going to start strapping the wire, our twisted wire, down through the middle. Now, how far you have your twisted wire down your stone is up to you. I'm going to have it sticking out below the point there by a couple of twists. I think that looks quite cool. Right, and start strapping that wire through the middle of a weave. Now, if you don't know how to strap wire through a middle of a weave, I recommend you go watch my first video, weaving, and I show it to you within there, or go and complete my first pendant project. I will put the link up in the corner there of my bell there, and I show you with diagrams how to strap wire down through the middle of the weave. So yeah, just go check those videos out and you'll learn how to do it if you don't know how to do this. Again, it's all fingers and thumbs. It's going to want to move. It's not going to want to do as it's told. So be patient with it. Get the few weaves in. It will hold itself in place soon. Now you might notice this when I'm weaving something really tiny. You notice how I went back round again. I'm now going to come back on myself. The reason I do this is it just makes it easier. It's tighter. Go around to the other side. And I'm going to strap this in again. Maybe just twice. Let's see. Still got my thumb on the front. And you can notice as well, it's starting to want to twist in its place. Hey, but we'll get there. Yeah, it's been twice now. Just be careful, it's starting to want to twist itself. I'm going to cross back over to the other side and I'm going to stop. Why do I want to stop? 1, get my tweezers out. And just how to budge everything down. They come in so much handy, tweezers, doing stuff like this, fine weaving. But let me get the original. Let me show you why we've stopped. It's a bit easier to look at this because obviously the shine from the light on the copper blinds you a little bit. So what we do now is that we're about here. We now want to bring this second wire in and bring it up and start strapping it in to the outside. So that's what we're doing next. Let's do that. Now that wire itself is this wire here. What we're going to do is we're going to bring it out to a bit of an angle. like so. You can make that angle a bit tighter if you wish to. Now, again, watch out for your twisted wire. It might still be a little loose at the moment and want to be doing what it wants to do. Now, you can use your pliers here. Fold that wire at a nice angle towards that. See, about the top of your weave, see? Just the top of the weave. Then using your pliers, turn it up so it sits parallel with that wire. Again, I'm just going to slightly spray the top to make my life easier. I'm going to sit there for a quick minute and adjust that. I want that angle a bit tighter. I want to be able to see it. That's better. This twisted wire is really going for it. Don't worry. We'll strap that in one more time in a minute. Now, do the same again the other side and try and be symmetrical. Pretty pleased that's not too bad. Get a tweak here and there, and we'll get it right. There we go. Now, this is where it starts getting nice and complicated. We want to at least strap our center twisted wire in one more time and start binding these outside wires in, but we don't want to go too far. We only want to bind it in a couple of times. As you can see here, all that happens is it gets bound into that weave twice, and then we trim it off at the next time we start strapping in that center twisted wire. So actually, I'm going to cut across the twisted wire one more time, and I'll start strapping in at the other side. Got to keep an eye on your wires. Which wire's which now? Where we go. I do like to make it fiddly. I won't do that. It's fiddly is the word. Lonely Soldier likes to make it fiddly at times. No apparent reason. Just like, let's make it fiddly. There we go. And I'm going to strap in that outside wire at the same time. There we go. Back into the main weave. Cut across to the other side. Come on. Remember, tweezers, get them in. It's beginning to be a little bit tricky. There we go. Hey, wait a minute. Did I just do that twice? What's going on there? Let me just have a quick look at that. There we go. I'm going to cut across the other side now. Back into the weave. Out to the outside wire. Oh, this is really tricky today. Do you know what I think it's finding it hard is actually because I'm doing it on the camera. I was slightly not in the position I would normally weave to. I'm going to lean forward out. Around that outside wire. Back into the weave. Now I'm going to weave a little bit. Now I'm going to put in, not a little bit actually, I'm just going to weave back and forwards once. And then strap that outside wire back in again. And then we'll trim it off. Nice and tight. Over to the other side. Same again. And when I come back across, I'm going to start strapping the center wire back in again. Okay. As you can see, I'm now going to come across the center wire and start strapping it in again. Bit tricky to see how where the light it catches on the wire a little bit, doesn't it? There we go. It's going to start holding it a lot easier. Now, another little tip here is that when you do start strapping wire in the center, so you can see what's happened here. It's starting to want to pull down into it. Now, that's up to you. That it could be a desired part of the design, but it also could be not. So just be careful of it, really. And also, I've noticed here as well, and it started out thin, and it's pulled together a little bit. It's not been my greatest of efforts. This one has definitely decided to give me a challenge. Lucky I have another one to do after this, where hopefully it will go. Right, I'm just going to unstrap that one. Just going to carry on weaving. A couple of times, strapping it in. One more time, let's cut across, and then we're going to cut off those pieces of wire. There we go. Happy with that. It's not too bad. Also, I've only held the centre wire in once there. Let's cut. Still. It's not my greatest of weavings. Really. I think we're going to get away with it. That's what patina sometimes can hide. Start to weave all right. I'm happy with it. It's staying within the bow. Not the greatest, like I said, it's not my neatest. I can do better. I know I can do better. Anyhow, we need to now just trim off those wires. Okay, so just going to budge my weaves down a little bit. Get my pliers in there. I might have to unwrap a little bit. So I'm going to trim off, and I'm going to trim off so they're just above, about the same distance as that gap of that weave. So like you're looking what, about a mil at the most. Oops, a daisy. There we go. See them just above the wrap. Do the same on the other side. Obviously, get them even. Like so. Now, pull that down. There we go. The weave's not going to I've got a little bit of a problem there. I might unwrap in a second and sort that out. But now we're going to take these two wires at the sides here. And again, you just use your thumb, bend them up at an angle. So they come up towards the top. See, look, I'm just bending up. The angle comes towards the top of where you cut the last one. And then using chain nose or flat nose, I'm going to go flat nose for this. Bring them in and then turn it so it becomes again perpendicular next to the other. Or horizontal. Am I using the right word? I don't know. There you go. You can see what I've done. Turned it so it's at the top of where you cut off the last wire. Same again the other side. And obviously again, do this to get it symmetrical. Like so. Now start repeating again. So what we need to do is strap your center wire in and at the same time strap your outside wires in and create a pattern and go until you've done nearly 4 centimeters. Sorry, we'll go back into focus. Yeah, go until you've done nearly 4 centimeters. Get your ruler out, mark it. There we go. Carry on the weave, strap everything in until you reach that mark. There we go. And halfway now, not quite there. My pattern is doing all right. It's okay. Might find it. Tidied my bottom up a little bit here, just pushing it up there with my tweezers. It's about the right time to take this off as well. Right, just get it out of the way. And again, just get in there tight, trim it. So it's around the back, or as close to the side and out the back. It's not going to get caught, hopefully. Even get your tweezers in there. There we go. And obviously you might notice is that as it starts going, because here, as you can see, it didn't go so well for me just here. It all pulled together. It wasn't quite what I wanted. But you know what? I think I can get around it. It's okay. Oh, sorry, better focus there. So yeah, there we go. It all pulled in, but it's all come together nicely at the top here. And it's all, as always is, that first part can sometimes be a little tricky to do. You might have noticed as well that I've decided not to strap the outside wires in so much, just to keep as much bare wire as possible so when polishing. Right then, back into hyperactive mode and let's finish the last half. As you start getting closer to your mark of 4 centimeters, you're actually going to have to go a bit further. What I recommend is just start gently bringing it over the top of the bow a bit, and you'll realize how much further you might have to weave. Just going to bring it across so it's sat at a bit more of a right angle at the top there now. Like that, there we go. And yeah, I'm going to carry on my pattern and my weave until I can reach that line there, right at the bottom. As you can see, I've actually reached my 4 centimeter mark and I've bent over, and I actually need to go a bit further. This is a great example about actually you're traveling a lot more distance than you would do on the original part of the bow, which is 4 centimeters. So yeah, again, I'm going to carry on my pattern all the way down. Again, when I get down to the base, I'm just going to push this right down. Lift it back up. So again, when I get down to here, I want to make sure I strap that outside wire in at the base here. That's all. Well, carry on and let's get this finished. Right then, we're done. I'm down to the end, as you can see. Now, don't trim this off. We want to carry on using it. So let's go back to the original design. Let's have a quick look here, show what we're doing next. There we go. We're taking these 2 wires now. They're these wires here. These 2 spirals. And we're going to bring them across the back and around themselves. So get in there with your thumb. Start really pushing that all right down to the bow. Get your wrapping wire out of the way. Straighten these if you have to. Okay, before we go anywhere, just realised we need to trim some wire off. Yeah, because we're not going to use all of these wires up at the end. We need to get rid of 2 of them. So it's up to you which 2 to get rid of. You can either get rid of the outside one or the inside one. I'm going to get rid of the outside one. Where's my mesh cutters? Get my pliers. I'm just going to tidy up here in a second. Okay. I'm just going to trim off to the bottom of the weave there, making sure. There you go. You see that at the bottom of the weave? Same on the other side. Try and make sure it's even. Make sure you pull your weave back. So it doesn't come down and come off. Now, we can bring these wires round. I'm just going to lay them across the middle and then sweep them out to the outside. Like so. Perfect. That looks pretty cool. Pretty pleased with that. Okay, there we go. Better focus there. There you go. Now I'm going to take these wires underneath. I'm going to bring it round. Back out. Same again the other side. Now, get your flat nose pliers. Get them in tight on that little wire there. And then just slightly fold it over until, there we go. Now let's see if we can get camera, especially down the side there. So what you're going to do here, this is a bit of a tricky one. Bit of a pinch and roll technique. So this is sometimes where you do have to think about cutting by eye. So let me just straighten that up. I stuck in my pliers. Now, let's look down the side of here. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to trim the wire off about there, and then we're going to tuck it round on itself. So you're only leaving yourself a few mil. And this is where your chain nose come in handy. And it's the squeeze and roll technique I showed you before. Squeeze, let me get back in the middle of it. There we go. That's it. I'm in focus. Squeeze and roll your pliers at the same time. That's it. Do the same the other side. Get your weaving wire out of the way. Let's see if we can do this on the camera. Again, just trimming, leaving myself probably no more than 1.5 mils. Right. This is a tricky one to do from this angle. Try and get it on the camera. Again, squeeze and roll. Straighten it up. There we go. That's turned out in white. It's not my favourite. It's all right. It's all right. Now, also, we need to get rid of this by getting in there with your pliers and just pull your wires away a little bit. You can get them in there. And then just trim it underneath there. Spirals. Like so. Out of the way. Now, take your wrapping wire. Now, we want to just quickly weave these two together to finish them off. And it helps hold everything in place. So I'm just straightening out my wire. There we go. Yeah. Make sure I'm in focus. There we are. And yeah, again, just carry on the weave just a few times. Just to help bind the two halves together. Just make it a little bit stronger. Make sure you put even amount of weaves each side. Okay. Now time to trim off. Now, when you're trimming off here, again, you're just looking to trim off to the inside there. So your end is on the inside. Shouldn't get caught. Run your finger over. Can you feel it? Nope. Now, judgment time on spirals here. I'm going to trim these down to, there we go, get in focus. I'm going to trim these down to 15 mil, 1.5 centimeters, and then spiral them on in. Doesn't have to be spirals, you could put little teardrops in. It's up to you. But it's best to finish these ends off by rounding them off like spiral or something, because they just won't get caught in anything. And I just like to lift them up a little bit, just so they sit on that back edge there. Just sits on that little lump that we created with the other bits of wires when we join them. In fact, I can see a little bit underneath that might need trim. There we go. Bring it in. And again, just bringing it up, just up so it sits above that up there. Cool. Now I can just see a little bit. See, I'm a bit worried about that. I can see that sticking out a little bit. Now I might just see if I can't get in there. Come on. There we go. We can come from this angle. There we go. Trimmed it. Got it. There we go. Complete. That came out all right. Now, again, in this situation, just sit there with your tweezers. Budge some wraps up. Maybe go round and straighten all your wraps up on your strapping across. Just take that extra few seconds, as usual, to, just make it look good. Again, pretty pleased. That turned out all right, even though, like I said in the first video, the grip didn't go so well. The bow's gone a lot better than I expected. That's quite some heavy weaving. I will say that. Right then. That's time. Let's go. Well, I'm going to go patina and polish this so we can take a nice picture for the thumbnail. Here we go. Patinaed. Quite like it sometimes when they're just black like that. Often makes the stone pop a little bit more. I was a little bit worried about the stone. I did wonder if there was any metals in the stone. Sometimes deliver a sulfur-kiln effect. We're okay. Right. I'm just going to get a bit of sandpaper now and start to remove this patina. There you go. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to have to take it over to the other bench to get the deeper shine on it. But they don't turn out too bad. I'm pretty pleased with it. Like I said, I haven't made this design for a long time. You know, I haven't done complicated weaving like that for quite a few months. I've been doing all the other stuff, so how did it come out against the original? Not bad. Pretty good, actually. Well, I hope it wasn't too complicated for you. Nice one. Excellent. Brilliant. Well, I know that didn't come out exactly how I wanted to, but it came pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. You know, I got a little bit of critique. I think my weaving could have been a little bit tighter and neater along here. I know I can be neater than this. It's not too bad. But I will say this. I haven't done much stuff like this for quite some time. And this is me getting back into old Lonely Soldier way of making stuff. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it, knowing I can do it a little neater, a bit tighter. So got that spare one to use up. going to use that one up. And yeah, hopefully produce something even a bit better than that. But yeah, hopefully you got that. I know that was a bit complicated. I hope that came across okay. It's just a figure of 8 weave. Joining wires in the outside and in the middle. Not too hard. Make your own patterns up. Come up with your own thing. But all you're looking to do is join those wires in. Maybe cut some off at some point and bring some more in as well. Maybe think of different patterns as well. But yeah, come over the bell to the front and then from the front over to the back. Nice one, people. That has been fun showing you that. It's been a long day filming that. I will say that. It has been fun. As you can see, we've lost the light. We started with the sun up this morning and now it's late afternoon and the sun's gone down. Right. I'm finished. It's been great fun. I look forward to seeing you all back at the bench very soon. Bye-bye.
To support this channel and help me keep making more videos, please come on over to join my Patreon, where you'll get early access to all my videos, free downloads of my books and tutorials, and entries into my giveaways, and more.